But showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. I hear a lot of people say, nobody can keep all of the commandments. How many of you have heard that, or maybe even said that yourself? Maybe you still think that, or you do believe that today. How many of you here can keep all of the commandments? I see a couple of hands kind of going like this. Yes, very good. How many of you, let me ask that question. How many of you can guard and cherish the commands? Let me see here. Okay, now what's going on here? I asked you the same thing 2 different ways, and I got 2 different responses. The word keep is the word shamar, means to guard. To get a little bit of better understanding of what this word means is when the shepherds were out at night. Remember the Hebrews, and we're going to talk more about them, I think, tomorrow, the Hebrew nomads, the nomadic lifestyle of the Hebrews. They were shepherds. And they would take their flocks out sometimes for days at a time looking for water. Well, that's something I was going to bring up, by the way. When you got up this morning and saw that it was raining, what did you think? You thought, what? Beautiful day. You thought it was it's a beautiful day. Come on, that's Greek. Maybe it was wet on my face. But how many of you were excited to see the rain? A couple. Normally. Except today. How many of you were a little bit disappointed it was raining? Okay, we've got a few here. Some people just really didn't care. Or we might be, if you're a farmer and you're raising crops, you might be thinking, yeah, I need that rain. Well, if it's at the wrong time and you've already harvested and you haven't brought up your alfalfa yet and baled it, then you've got a problem. But we all have different ways of looking at rain. When you're reading the Bible and it says that it rained, don't let your own personal opinion about what rain means to you to influence how you understand the text. What does rain mean to the ancient Hebrews who were nomads? Life and death. Rain isn't just rain. And I wanted to bring that up to remind you that when you're reading the text, you can't think of it like yourself. Let's take a look at the word shamar. As I was saying earlier, is that the shepherd would be out at night or for days at a time away from the family camp with his sheep in search of water and grass. And at night he needed to corral his sheep together to protect them from the wild animals and the wild beasts. What he would do is he would go around and he would construct a wall of rock, a corral of rock, and then on top of that he would build up thorn bushes. Okay? And these intermingled, twined thorn bushes would protect the sheep from the predators. Then he would get inside and close it off, and they would be protected in there through the night. That's a shamar. Imagine that corral of thorn bushes. That is a shamar. It means to guard and to protect. So now if I ask you, how many of you can guard and protect the Torah? We can say, yeah, I do. You know what? I might mess up. I may not do it as well as I should, but I can keep it. That word keep there in that verse means to shamar, to guard and to protect. Devarim 31:20. Devarim is Deuteronomy. They will turn to other gods and serve them and despise me and break my covenant. Now, we talked about the word keeping, and we have this idea that nobody can keep the commands. Keep does not mean obey. It means to guard. In the same way, the word break, or the Hebrew word parar, does not mean disobey. We like to have a tendency to read that, despise me and disobey my covenant. That's not what it says. That's not what it means. The word parar means to trample underfoot. So breaking a command is not in the Hebrew sense not doing it. It means to literally take it, throw it on the ground, and trample on it. Now we can see a little bit different of what the Hebrews were trying to say when they used these words. Shamar and parar, to guard or to trample underfoot. By the way, the picture here, the first letter is the Pei, which is a picture of a mouth. It means to open. The Resh is a picture of a head. To open the head. Well, that's not what you might think at first. But the way that the Hebrews would get the grain is they would take the grain from the field, throw it down on the threshing floor. The oxen then would trample on the grain, breaking open the hulls, open the heads of the hulls, to get the seeds out, and then they would winnow it. Well, that's the picture of parar, is the oxen going around in the threshing floor, trampling on the grain. So to take the Torah, the covenants, or in that verse that we looked at there, despise me and take my covenant and throw it on the ground. Okay, Proverbs 10:11. The mouth of the righteous is the fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. Righteous is a abstract. Wicked is a abstract. When we see that, we need to ask ourselves, what does the original concrete Hebrew meaning of these words? The best way to find the original meaning of a word, the easiest way, is to use a Strong's Concordance. You can do this yourself. Take a word like righteous. And it's a little bit of work, but look up everywhere that word is used. In this case, 300 or 400 times. But look up everywhere where that word is used and see how the translators translated it because of the context. The context sometimes will tell you what that word means. The word wicked is the word rasha, and that's usually translated as wicked, but there are one or two places where it's translated as lost. To be lost. The context of the verse is not about a wicked person. It's about being lost. Straying from the path. In the wrong area, not knowing where you are. Anybody here ever been, literally lost before, like out in the woods? Or something like that? I have. Scary feeling, isn't it? You're like, am I ever going to get home? That's a scary place to be. Okay, that's what this word, it means to depart from the way. That's the way it's usually translated, to depart from the way. But it means to be lost. To stray away from the normal path. So now we can get a more picture understanding of this word. A wicked one is one who strayed from the straight and narrow. Pretty simple. Now the word righteous, though. Every place in the Bible where this word tzaddik is used, it's always in an abstract fashion. It's always translated as righteous. There's nothing in the context of the verse to give us a concrete understanding. These two words are used about 80 times together. Remember the Hebrew poetry, saying one thing two different ways? Another form of Hebrew poetry is to say two opposite things together. The road is long and the way is short. That would be two opposites. And you'll see that in this verse. The mouth of the righteous is the fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. It's using opposites. Hebrew likes to do that in his poetry. And these two words are antonyms. Very commonly you'll see synonyms. The way of the righteous is good and the way of the upright is perfect. Okay, that's synonyms. These two words, tzaddik and rasha, were about 80 times used together as antonyms, which meant that this word has to be an opposite of this word. Now, what's the opposite of lost? No. Lost is a state of being away from the path. Found is one point in time where you are no longer lost. What is the state of not being lost? Staying on the right path. Is there an English word for that? No. There is no English word for that. So now we know that the word righteous means to not be lost. It means to be on the path. So we can understand this verse. The mouth of the one who is on the path is a fountain of life, but the mouth of the one who's strayed off and lost from the path conceals violence. These are the imageries that the ancient Hebrews had in their mind when they wrote it, and when we're reading it, we should have the same thing.